Well, Philip was in the Army Cadets, when he left school. Straight from there he went to be a boy soldier. So he joined the other lads then, in the regiment, Queen's Lancashire Regiment, I think it was at the time, yeah.
I think it was through family really. My dad was in the Merchant Navy and I had two brothers who were in the regiment.
There's Alfie and John and Philip. They all joined up. What surprised me was that they were all in the same regiment, but apparently, they moved into different companies, I think they split them up that way.
I went down to Fountain Street in Manchester and asked her to join up. I can't remember much of it, but they took all my details and said they'll be in touch.
Oh, I was quite pleased, really, because I've been away from home quite a lot, being evacuated, and I was also in the Merchant Navy, before the end of the war. And I've also done a bit in the forces, myself, but as a territorial, 12 years, as a territorial. Yeah, so it pleased me to see that they were going in the army.
81, we started preparing to go to Northern Ireland. Crossmaglen is the first posting over in Northern Ireland that we had, but that was mainly in the Cuds, in the countryside, where we just we had to show our presence to reassure the people that we were actually trying to do something about terrorists and stuff like that. We did come under fire a few times in Crossmaglen, but I think we had the place well and truly closed down, and we actually dominated South Armagh, and that's why we never got hit as much, because we were professional enough to keep the IRA at bay, if you know what I mean. But in Belfast it's just a completely different story. I mean, the terrorist organisations in Belfast were very professional.
Of course you miss them, but you appreciate the job they're doing, and you look forward to them just coming home on leave and things like that.
Belfast, hard work. Scary sometimes. When you realise when you're first going over there is when you get to the point of no return on the boat, and then you start thinking about it, all the training that you've done and all the things that you've been told to expect. And when you get there, it's just, you just got to switch on and click straight into work and just carry out all the things that you've been trained to do.
First thing you did when you got up in the morning was look at the news, and you always had the news on, watching what had happened, who'd been killed and whatever, or what action had been going on in that area. Yeah.
First day out was quite scary because you don't know what to expect. The first major incident we had was when we lost Ian O'Connor in the Divis Flats. We did what you call the Divis Flat Patrol, where the quick reaction force take you out in Land Rovers, drop you outside, and then you bomb burst in, and then cover all the stairwells and all the landings. Before we actually got up into the flats, the Land Rover actually came back into the flats and went underneath the walkways where an IED was dropped on the top, and it exploded on impact, and the driver Ian O'Connor was killed and all the passengers were injured. I think that really put everything into perspective about what we were dealing with, and from then on you just had to switch on. And other incidences when we've been fired upon from gunmen, and you just don't know where it's coming from, but all you hear is just the crack of the round over your heads and all splash marks on the walls. And Belfast was hard. It put a strain on a lot of people, and you can see why people get post-traumatic stress, because it's all bottled up and you're just concentrating on the job that you have to do. It's like anything, like if you go to war, when you come back and everything's calm, and that's when your mind starts bringing these things back, and things that you're basically thinking about all the time. But you just don't tell anybody, you bottle it up, and then I think that's why it causes stress. But unfortunately we lost 2 guys over there, and we had quite a few injured. But that's what we're there for. Kosovo. Went over to Kosovo in 2000, just after the conflict had finished, and it really does put things into perspective again over there when you see the devastation that it caused with the kids and families. What we did, we had to protect Serb villages from the Albanians from moving in and sort of getting retribution on them, because most of the villages had been burnt out and the families forced out. That's another thing that you need to just let it go when you come back. I just felt sorry for all the kids and that, because I did have contact with a lot of the kids over there. I did especially in Kosovo, I did a lot of aid work where we tried to help out the families and things in the village, getting them cookers, getting them settled back into the villages. That was sort of the main thing that we was in Kosovo for, is sort of to get things back to normal again. But it's not that easy. It must be still going on now. When I went to Bosnia, that was a different thing altogether, because I was an intelligence collator. I used to brief the patrols going out, and we just used to get basic intelligence of what's happening in the villages, and if there's any terrorist activity going on, and stuff like that. We've seen a lot of devastation in Bosnia as well, but not as bad as Belfast or Kosovo. So, it's basically it. We don't talk about it because it's, we just don't discuss it even when we're together, because it's just one of them things you don't talk about. It's like the old, during the war, you don't get the old fellas coming over and talking about what they've done and how they felt, because it becomes personal.